Have you ever thought about your freedom number? That's something we talked about a couple months ago before we started to even really entertain this whole idea of moving abroad 6 months of the year and then living in America part time. If you missed the video from yesterday, day one of our whole life experiment, make sure you go back and watch that one. But today we're talking about what our freedom number is and what freedom actually means to us because it's not what you think it may be. It's not just one thing that most people think of with freedom.
So the number, our freedom number, we'll talk about last. So we'll talk about why it is what it is. And so when I think about my freedom number or our freedom number now, it has to be enough to cover expenses, travel, vacations, um, food, clothing, learning. So like post-school education, adult learning, that includes books, courses, coaching.
The fun stuff too.
Yeah.
Entertainment. Like
Yeah, movies. We go to the movies almost every week.
we're really so much about like life is not meant to be a whole mundane experience where you just wake up, you work every day, you come home, you eat dinner, maybe sometimes you go out with your friends or your family every once in a while if you can afford it. It should be an experience where you're going through life and you're enjoying. Of course, you have your routine, mundane things that have to happen, but it shouldn't be to the point where you don't have time to actually live and enjoy it. And so we were talking about something the other day with like hobbies. A lot of times people no longer have hobbies because we've kind of been taught in our society now that, ooh, you got to monetize everything, you got to monetize, you got to make money. And yes, of course, we all need to make money, we got to live, we got to be adults with real responsibilities.
Yes.
But we also want to make time for the things that we enjoy doing. And I know like you can talk about what you like to do, but for me, I went to school for jewelry design. So I want to start making time for my art again, making time to create, and I want to take art classes and have fun and do creative things. I like to work with my hands. So I want to make time for that. But that requires some money. Not always, but like a lot of times you do need money to invest in the things that you enjoy.
Yeah, and so like for me, I've always wanted to design cars. When I was growing up, I used to want to be an inventor. And the other day I was scrolling Facebook and I found a guy up in Connecticut, and I think his school or his program is metalwork. So one of his students designed an all aluminum classic style racer. If I can find a picture, we'll pop it up on screen. And I was just like blown away because those are things that I've always loved, like the classic F1 Ferraris, like the original, the ones that kind of look like a cigar. And just being able to do things like that. Like I love cooking, so I've always got to have the best ingredients. I have yet to start using that fancy European butter because that European butter is kind of pricey, but I still use a really good local Texas butter when I'm baking all of my treats for those that have had them. And it's just the little things. And your freedom number, when you look at it, it's really a little thing, a lot of little things that tie together to make that number kind of huge whenever you actually think about it. Because you want to have nice shoes. Let's say, for instance, you do want to have a Jordan sneaker collection, which I've always secretly wanted to have, but just never ever really spent the money on it. It's like, man, you got these good drops. Okay, cool, you're dropping a couple $100. You finally are able to snatch up some classic ones you want. So you're checking out StockX, you're checking out GOAT, and you're like, dang, man, them bad boys cost $700-800. But, you know, if it's a part of your freedom number, you can just boom, 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 you're going to get the shipping from that in a couple days. But moving on to freedom number and family. So when you think about like your family, you want to be able to take care of your family just in case of emergencies. If you have elder parents, if something happens, you got to get a caretaker. You got to move them in with you. That's a bunch of extra expenses. Or let's say you got a friend that's starting up a new business and you want to kind of be an angel investor.
Invest and pour into them.
Right.
You know, help people reach their dreams too.
Or even like when it comes to friends and travel.
Yes, I mean, I think we've all kind of experienced that you want to travel, you want to do things, but you may have that friend who just can't go because they don't have the means to. And of course, you want to be able to, not that you got to be the person who's flying people out, but you want to be able to create a space where everybody can come. All the people that you love, the people that you have fun with, we can all do things together. So being able to help the people that we love, the people that we care about, be a part of this experience, having this life that they also dream of, that they want to enjoy. We can all do these things together, but as we know, that always requires money.
Money, I think a lot of people have a negative stigma around money, or you think about like most of the countries in the West, oh, evil capitalism is so bad. Everything that you kind of do or have is based off of capitalism. Like we're recording this on an iPhone and it's on a gimbal, and then we've got these mics that we have on. We got another iPhone sitting on the table monitoring the levels. All this stuff they're fruits of capitalism. And when you look at what capitalism really is, it's the ability to take your labor and get a fair charge for it. Now, some people don't understand that whatever you feel you're worth, you can get. You just might have to level up your skills. You might have to put yourself in rooms with people that think better, not better, but bigger than your current situation. Because I'm a big fan of Porsches. I don't have a Porsche yet, but I have a couple Porsches in mind that I like, both classic and new. And she probably had me talk her ear off about Porsches. But you got to set bigger goals, because if you're shooting for Jupiter, you might end up on Mars, because it just is what it is. But if you're setting goals and planning accordingly for anything financial or money-wise, it's going to stretch you out of your comfort zone, which is good for the long run.
And so for me, this video is not just about money. It's also about like what freedom means to both of us. Freedom, yes, it's money, it's the financial aspect, but also for me, the time freedom, location freedom, those are things that are really, really important to me. And for me, I've been working remotely since 2017. And that's because when I was living in LA, I'm like, hey, I want to be able to experience more in the world. I want to be able to go where I need to go. Like if I'm living in LA and my family is in Ohio, I want to be able to go to Ohio, still do what I need to do and not be tied to a certain place. So that's what the whole like this push for location freedom came for me in my life. And then also time freedom. I want to be able to spend my time the way I want to spend my time. Yeah. Like if I want to be, midday taking a walk, or if I want to have a slow morning, which I love to do, just having the freedom to own my time without someone dictating how I use my time. Because time is the one thing, it's the one asset that we will not get back. Once you spend your time, it's over. It's with money, you can spend your money and get it back. True. But with time, once it's gone, it's gone. So I think that's actually more important than money in many cases, because it's something that you'll never recoup. So time and location freedom, in addition to the money, is something that I'm really, I don't want to say pushing for, but something that we're striving for to build what we want in our life together with this experiment and with our marriage, since we're newly married a weekend.
Yeah, and more on the time thing. This is an underrated asset that most people don't think about, the freedom of thinking time. Thinking time is probably one of the most important things, and we talk about this a lot. Like sometimes I'll be working a lot, and then when I get home, I'm so tired I don't have the time to work on my 5 to 9. And so 9 to 5, even though I work for myself, it'll crush me. I get home, I just want to lay on the couch. I only want to eat and scroll Netflix, but that's not what I need to do because of what we're trying to do and the goals we have to make happen. I'm having to switch careers. I don't have to, but it makes more sense. Currently, I run a service-based business that's physical, and it's linear, so I don't get to scale it. So I get a call, I got to go out, I got to do a repair. And that's not conducive to scaling at all. So if I get 100 calls, I got to go out 100 times. But let's say I build something digital. I have 100 checkouts from my store, I only had to build it once. And once I dedicate that time to building it, it's set there. I got to do some marketing. I got to make some videos. I got to make some Facebook ads. It's good to go versus me having to answer the phone physically, having to get up, put my backpack on, get in the truck, go drive out, and actually complete the repair. And so we're just moving towards what makes more sense logically, especially having a freedom-based lifestyle where we're here 6 months in America and then somewhere else another 6 months. It's very important and imperative for me to have a digital career. And I've been fighting it for a long time. I have literally been playing hokey pokey with one toe in, one pinky in, one pinky out, one toe out. But now it's time to go all in. And I'm going to use AI to kind of help usher that along or to move very quickly.
And even with your business, we talked about we've dabbled with outsourcing things, but even with that, it's like you are still managing people, so you're kind of like in and you're kind of out, and
Hokey pokey.
So there's like always different ways you can achieve a goal, but we've just both found that the digital route has been a better fit for the lifestyle that we're building individually and together now. So yeah.
You ready to talk numbers?
Yes, let's get into these numbers.
Okay.
And I had to pull my phone out because we did some math the other day, and my mind was just like literally blown away.
Yeah. So our freedom number per month, that includes everything: the cars we want to live, the places we want to live, investments, putting money away, being able to shop, all bills and everything, is $50,500 a month. And the number might seem astronomical to some people, but when you do the math, it's only about 600 grand a year. And people think, yeah, if you're making 100 something grand a year, yeah, it sounds like a lot of money. It's like, oh man, this is 5x what I'm currently making. I don't know if I can. I'm going to let her get into more details about what that actually is. So per day.
So let me do the math. So
Okay.
when we came up with this 50,000, once we were adding up everything that we actually wanted, we're like 50,000. I'm like, okay, that's a lot. It felt like a lot for me because I haven't made that much in a month yet. So once we actually did the math and figured out how much that came to per year, I was like, whoa, that's really doable. That's really doable.
Yeah.
And then so once I broke it out, I'm like, okay, how much is that per month? And I have out this calculator because $50,000 divided by 30 days is only $1,666.66. I'm like, between the two of us,
Yeah.
we can definitely do that.
Yeah.
We can definitely do that. And so when I say my mind was blown, I was like, man, that's so within reach that if I hadn't done the math myself, I would have thought, oh man, this is a huge number. But like, man, we can definitely do that. So it makes me even more excited about our whole journey of getting to that point because it's within reach.
And then if we take weekends off, so we're only working 20 days a month, it's only $2,500 a day. And so some people, granted, don't make that in a week. Some people do make that in a week. It is what it is, but you have to find your number. So I think back to when I was waiting tables, and one of my regular clients, he made $10,000 a minute. So think about it, every single minute, whether he's sleeping, whether he's farting, whether he's eating, $10,000 a minute. And so the guy had 2 jumbo jets, 2 747s, and they were custom. So each one of them had maybe 20 seats and like some room setups in there. So it's really crazy to think about what's possible, but you have to think about what's actually possible. You think about like retirement. They say retirement, you need X amount of dollars. Retirement, you probably need $5 million at whatever the current rate is. And then middle class currently is probably in between, I heard one of my mentors say, between like 150 and like 225. That's 150 and 225,000 a year. And I don't think a lot of people are making that. But you think about the cost of everything. and you really have to factor in what you need to be happy. Think about organic foods, thinking about being able to go out to a date night with the wife, thinking about having children, thinking about vacations. All of that stuff is pretty expensive. But if you're not factoring that into your number, how are you going to ever be able to get where you're trying to go? You have to understand that first. So for us, $50,500.
That's our starting point.
That's a starting point. The eventual goal, what I told myself, the bigger goal is to make $200K a month, and whatever that equates to, I'll let you guys do the math. I know exactly what it is, but $200,000 a month, because that's a number that I feel like I've made it once I made it to that point, but that's still a small number.
And I think the biggest takeaway, or the whole reason we're talking about this, I think it's really important to just expand your mind of what is possible. You might not have anyone that you know that is doing this thing, like, you know, making these big numbers or whatever your number is. Maybe you don't know anyone that's doing that currently, but that's why we have the internet, we have books, we have all types of things. So use what you can to expand your mind of what is possible for you. And that's something that we are really big on. Like, we like to watch YouTube videos together. We like to send each other YouTube videos or reels on Instagram. You should see our DMs, but like, we're both always trying to expand. And that's including expanding the people that we're hanging around, expanding our circle. They say you're the sum of your 5 closest friends. And I think with our friends, we're even wanting to help them upgrade. Like, we're all upgrading each other. We're all evolving together and helping each other grow. And now with us being married, we're responsible for helping each other grow.
Absolutely.
Of course, you're responsible as an individual for your growth, but now we're a team. So when he's doing better, I'm doing better. When I'm doing better, he's doing better. Our family is growing. So, we're in this journey together, this whole, keep calling it a life experiment. But yes, you guys know now what our goal is. 50K months consistently. That's going to be the new norm. And so you'll see us working toward that, taking daily steps and actions to work toward that goal. And we may try things that don't work, but we're going to pivot and figure out the rest.
Exactly.
It's just about not stopping and just keep going until you see this dream or this vision that you have realized.
And that's it for today's video. We're going to see you guys tomorrow.
Keep coming back.